Pray tell us, sir, are those awful rumours of a defeat of our forces in Kildare to be deemed true?
I'm afraid so, sir. I believe it was a place named Prosperous in County Kildare, under the charge of Captain Swain of the Cork Militia. And our losses were apparently quite considerable. It seems that the rebels were led by a lieutenant in the yeomanry, a local man, named Esmond, I believe.
Preposterous to think that our superior forces could so easily be defeated at the hands of a rag-taggled bunch of peasants who never before had faced the enemy in the field.
Ridiculous.
Outrageous. Oh, quite outrageous and bloody embarrassing.
Sirs, I have with me a report on the events at Prosperous.
Oh, very good.
On the 23rd of May, it was intimated that fear had hitherto prevented the peasantry from bringing the concealed weapons to the town, and that should they be permitted to enter after dark unchallenged and unmolested on the following night, pikes and firearms would be brought in and deposited in the streets. It is difficult to decide whether the stupidity of Swain or the treachery of Esmond were most to be condemned. A man individually may trifle with himself, but for him who turns right or left from the plain path which duty points to, and compromises the safety of those committed to his charge, his men, there can be no extenuation. For Swain's folly there can be no apology. His guards should have been doubled. A cart or a ladder drawn across the street would have marked sufficiently where those who came to surrender arms might approach with full security.
Right.
A step beyond it, if the challenge failed, the advanced sentry would shoot the intruder and the garrison would at once be alarmed. So much for Swain. His weakness was inexcusable. He died its victim, ignobly, certainly, but still by the weapon of a foe man. Esmond met the doom he merited, a noose. About 2 o'clock on Thursday morning, the 24th of May, the two sentinels were surprised and killed, and both barracks were assaulted while the soldiers were fast asleep. Nothing could have been more detestable than Esmond's treachery. He wore the royal uniform, and yet was false to the monarch to which he had sworn allegiance. When men of desperate fortune swerve from the paths of honour, poverty may be pleaded to extenuate, though not excuse. Esmond had no plea to offer. He was wealthy, well-born, and respected. He might have proved a rebel, but why play the traitor? When in the house of God, loyalty was on his lips, while the heart was contemplating bloodshed. Even the tie a savage venerates could not turn him from his truculent design. And while he had devoted him to death, he shared his victim's hospitality. He dined with Captain Swain at the inn on the 23rd of May, and continued to enjoy the glow of social mirth with him till a few hours before the perpetration of that bloody scene, which he had for some time meditated. The work of death at Prosperous was interrupted by intelligence conveyed to the insurgents that at Clane, 3 miles off, their friends had been defeated. For although partly surprised, that little garrison succeeded in beating off their assailants. That is the end of my report.
Kildare, you say? I will get a message dispatched to Brigadier General Dunn in Monasterevin and get him to send as many forces as he can to Prosperous. We'll teach these rebels a thing or two.
Sir, to the best of my knowledge, Lieutenant Colonel Charles Stewart and Captain Pack of the 5th Dragoon Guards are in the vicinity, and I am certain that the Colonel has a number of curricle guns at his disposal.
Excellent.
Very good, very good.